Charlie, I know I'm on the fence here, but I'm going to defend this movie just a little bit.
Yeah, please do.
The last time I talked about Goldfinger, and I'll say this, Largo is no Goldfinger. Goldfinger is charismatic. He looks like a dimwit, but you underestimate him at every turn. Largo, not so much. Largo is kind of like by-the-book villain, right? I mean, for God's sakes, they give the man an eye patch. I don't even think they explain it. They're just like, he's got an eye patch. He's got to be a bad guy. But what I like about this movie, like, it's got better water, okay? Like, that's the one thing, is the action sequences in this movie are, I think, much, much better than they are in Dr. No. And to be honest, like, most of the movies is for entertainment value, not so much for substance. But I do think there's that film, the movie has that going for it. Again, like I said before, I really do like Fiona. I think she's a really great henchwoman for this film, and probably one of the better Bond villainists that kind of get overlooked, even better than, I mean, Honor Blackman's a great Bond girl, but I think as a villain, Fiona's a much better villain, of course. I think Largo in this movie, unlike Dr. No, he's much more active. Yes, he's stupid. Like, you guys agree. I agree. I get where you're coming from. Like, he doesn't make the best decisions. But I do think that he at least is active in his role where he's overseeing to making sure, okay, we got the nuclear weapons. They're coming in. And, you know, he's already planned this whole thing out. You never see Dr. No do any of this stuff. I mean, Dr. No is kind of just sitting in a chair with his metal hands.
So you're calling him a micromanager then?
Yeah. Like, but
I think he just likes scuba diving.
But again, here's the thing, though. Here's the
something,
thing.
You know?
We talked about that last week with Goldfinger, and it worked. My argument was, so screen time equals better bad guy.
And I said that's not what I was
screen
saying.
time, you say activity. I want my bad guy to do more. But for
Like,
me,
it
that
could be
doesn't
one
change
thing-
the fact, though. That doesn't change the fact that Largo just comes across as a f***ing dumbass.
Yeah.
Whereas Dr. No, the only mistake he made, I guess, was not fully electrifying the cell that he put Bond in.
Sure.
Bond just kind of immediately got out by what he like used his shoes or something. But otherwise, Dr. No, even when he's unseen, right?
Dr. No's performance is better.
He is kind of like the Blofeld of that movie so far as he is not seen as much as he's heard, and he's like that unknown bad guy. You don't see him, so it's kind of intriguing.
think-
Like, who is this guy? And there's
I
more
think what you're
mystery there.
describing.
Whereas
Yeah.
it worked for Goldfinger, who was a more active bad guy, but he was charismatic, and he was this disgusting fat who Bond saw as nothing, and then at every turn he had a
Exactly.
surprise for Bond, and that's where why we agreed that Goldfinger was at the top of the list because
Yeah,
of Goldfinger himself.
Yes.
I don't think Largo saves this movie
agree.
in the same way, and I think Largo brings it down. And I don't think that Fiona is enough to raise it back up. I think Fiona is great, but I think Fiona, she should have been that omnipresent bad guy throughout. You know what I mean?
But I will say, I think what you're describing with Dr. No in this fact is, I forget the actor's name already. I think his performance is definitely better than Largo's. And fun fact, Largo's performance is also dubbed. So that's like 3 movies.
I knew to look for it this time.
4 movies in a row, someone's dubbed.
Yeah. On the dubbing thing, though, I thought my impression was like much like it would be today. You have an actor come in, they perform, and then if they're going to be dubbed, you're going to pull them into your looping studio like this, and you're going to have them talking to a microphone. The fact that they just had, I mean, and I guess it's because everybody's been foreign, right?
Yeah.
Dr. No was his own voice because he's Canadian.
Is his name?
But everybody else, so we have Ursula Andress, who's, what is she?
She
like,
was dubbed?
But she's like Germanic or she's Swedish or something. Like, she heavy accent. Gert Frobe, heavy accent. Now we have Largo actor guy.
It's Adolf. I'll find his name. Hold on.
Adolfo. We had, I assume he had a heavy Italian accent or something.
Yes.
Like if you have a heavy accent, they don't give you voice lessons. They just say, it. We'll dub it.
Dub them, yeah. I'm going to put up a very weak fight for you guys because I still maintain in my head that I think Thunderball is just a more entertaining movie than Dr. No.
Bring it. You defend it.
No! Dr. No, it's, again, they were figuring shit out, and finally they get the script to the movie that they really wanted to do originally, and that movie, they put everything into it, and even so much like all of the underwater sequences are really a good addition to the film. You know, you know what? I even would say that the DB5 sequence in the movie, it's very brief, but I think in some ways it's better because you actually see a lot of it. In Goldfinger, it's in the dark. It's kind of hard to make out what's exactly going on to an extent. In this one, you actually kind of see the DB5 in action a little bit more. Obviously, there's a lot more gadgets. I mean, again, it's kind of that super spy versus spy argument we had the last time. So yeah, the films had evolved a little bit. And I can see your argument, Charlie. I can see you thinking, well, that's because they had more money. I mean, this movie spent $8 million. I think it was like $9 million. Way more than they spent on Goldfinger.
That's three times the budget.
They went like,
that's 9 times the Dr. No budget.
Yeah, so better budget.
But here's the thing. You have to admit, though, that where that money went to was purely spectacle. And that doesn't mean bad, because watching that underwater battle, it's like
awesome.
It's like watching the Civil War underwater. It's f***ing awesome. But it is purely spectacle. It doesn't add to the story. It adds to the, the cinematics. Wow.
You're right. And I'll say that, like, I agree with you, but I do think the spectacle factor of the film definitely adds a lot more to the movie that was missing from Dr. No. And yes, Dr. No, it's definitely a smaller film. It's a lot of people talking in rooms and, creeping around corners and, finding, investigating. But this film, you've got a lot more action scenes, a lot more Bond doing more things, whether he's trying to rescue his assistant who dies or, banging that hot chick in this movie. Damn. I'm not over her. She was just so gorgeous in this goddamn movie. She's like 2 pluses on this movie.
Which one?
Both of them. You know what? Damn it. Both of them.
Yeah, I agree. But which one are you talking about?
Definitely Fiona. Yeah. The bathroom, the bathtub scene. Oh, and then you know what? Domino's okay. But you know what really got me was the lady in the spa.
Behave yourself, Mr. Bond.
She's great. She's fantastic.
You put her above the rest?
She is far less than the other two.
Not the rest, but I think just the fact that you have those 2 hot women are far better than the women that they have in Dr. No.
Yeah, I want to try and support you, McCurdy.
Thanks, bud.
Budget doesn't make a better film. We obviously argued this in the last episode. Yeah, there's more action. The underwater scene, the boat chase, the car chases, but it all comes across very convoluted and rushed.
Are you talking about Dr. No or this movie?
This movie. I'm talking about the underwater fight scene at the end, which is obviously a large part of this budget conversation. It's convoluted as hell. It's just nuts. There's way too much happening. It's not structured at all. There's lobsters running around on the floor like, Jesus Christ, what's going on? Like even the fish have no idea.
So I thought you were going to support me, but then you just went the other way with it. But that's what
I'm trying to bring it. I'm trying to bring it full circle to my final point. My favorite part out of all of that is there's one point where 2 guys are fighting and a shark starts coming in, and they realize like, this, you're my friend. Shark. And they stop fighting. Totally. And they both focus on the shark like, here, take my spear gun, shoot it. I don't even care.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah. And they're like, all right, well, do we just go?
When Connery read the script, he realized, there's going to be sharks in this shit. We need to have a plexiglass system, which is what you will see in most films, is they'll use like some kind of plexiglass to prevent the actors from interacting with actual like live animals if they're on set. Connery knew this. He's like, we need to do this. Like we need to have, that's a really terrible Connery. But anyway, we need to have a plexiglass. So when they get on the set and there's a scene where the fucking
wait, it's not glass, it's glass.
Plexiglass. When they had a scene where Connery was on set with the fucking shark glass, and the fucking shark breaks the glass, Connery was like, oh shit, and he got the out of that pool.
Sorry, old chap. Better luck next time.